Ciao studenti e bentornati a una nuova lezione di Italy Made Easy. Today we're talking about strange cases in the plural. This is lesson 16 of a 30-day, let's call it challenge or series that helps you get started with the Italian language. We're really trying to understand how the language works. There's no point learning phrases when you don't know how the language works. And so that's how thousands of students have managed to become fluent in Italian with Italy Made Easy. I want to help you, and we're doing it today with this topic. So, are there any odd cases when it comes to plurals? Of course there are. In English you have child, children, foot, feet. There's so many of those, and so we have those as well. You will find that foreign words that have entered the Italian language stay unchanged when they go plural. And so while in English you would say a computer, two computers, even though we have that word in Italian, we say computer, we are not going to make it a plural. So we say un computer, due computer. That is because computer is a foreign word and we're not going to touch it. And here it is. So we have un computer, due computer. I was ahead of my slides, right? Uno strudel, which is a traditional cake. Now, it's not an Italian word. We have that word in English as well. We both imported it from German. And so what is due? Due strudel. We're not going to say strudeli or strudele or anything like that. Obviously, it kind of makes sense, right? When I say that we don't turn the word into a plural, it doesn't mean that that word is not plural if we are talking about many of them. And so you got to keep that in mind, because your adjectives and everything else in the sentence will still need to be adjusted to a plural if you're trying to express the concept of a plural. So if we have a broken computer, then we'll say un computer rotto. But if we have two, then we would say due computer rotti. As you can see, rotto, the adjective for broken, in the first sentence, it's in the masculine singular. In the second sentence, it's in the masculine plural, because we're talking about many computers that are broken. So we always got to keep that in mind, even when we're using foreign words. Uno strudel buono, due strudel buoni. Here again, the adjective buono, good, has still changed to plural, buoni. Now, here's a good one. Words that have a written accent at the end of the word in Italian, so they're Italian words, they also stay unchanged. This makes it kind of handy because we do have quite a few of those words, right? Una città, one city. Città, as you can see, maybe you can, there is an accent on the A, una città. So, due città. We're not going to say città or anything like that. Due città. Un caffè nero, un caffè nero, due caffè neri. So the thing I said about adjectives still applies here. Caffè didn't change because it's a word that has an accent at the end, so it's caffè. Can you hear? Un caffè, due caffè. But the adjective still needs to reflect that we're talking about many, so neri in that case. Now we have also another group that is like old Latin words that basically are just a mess. We're just gonna have to memorize them. And some of them might remind you of the English word like for datum, data or data. It's kind of like data, but it's a plural. Like we have some of those that are a little bit weird, and you just have to get used to them. So the word for hand, mano, is feminine, even though it ends with o. So it's una mano. When you go plural, due mani. So mano and mani, it looks like a masculine word that went plural, but they're still feminine. They're just feminine words, and we just gotta live with that, right? So, un uomo, a man. This one goes plural in a funny way. It's like child, children. Kind of changes a bit. Due uomini. Un uomo, one man. Due uomini. Due uomini, two men. Another one that you'll find that it's interesting, that there's a lot more of these ones, but I'm just giving you the common ones that I know you will say eventually. Un uovo, one egg. Due uova. So this one is very similar to datum, data. Uovo is the Italian version of the ending, basically, the o. But then when it goes plural, it maintains the irregular plural from Latin, and that's why we say uova instead of uovi, which would be kind of the thing that makes sense, right? Then we have some words, some nouns, they actually change gender depending on whether you're using them in the singular or in the plural. These are fun. They're actually really cute. So un dito, that's a finger. Un dito rotto. As you can see, it's a masculine word. I said un and I said rotto, so it's masculine. But if I broke two, then I would say due dita rotte. So much happened. So dito went dita, again, using that kind of old Latin plural. So dito became dita. We got to remember that for fingers. But then you also have to remember that now dita is actually a feminine word. It's no longer a masculine word. I don't know. It's Latin stuff, I suppose. And you will find also a few of those that are fun. And we cover all of them in Beginner Italian Level 1, of course. I mean, not all of them, but we definitely share a lot of these ones in the full course. And a couple of tips. Don't stress. That's always my tip. I'm a language learner myself. If I stressed every time something is a little difficult, I would have given up a long time ago, right? So please don't give up. In many cases, it's a good policy to not ask why. That's how it is. It's just child becomes children, ox becomes oxen. Take it as it is. Italian does the same. It's not that many, like we have a few of those words. It's not like we have millions of words that do this. And the more you use words, of course, the more you are going to get used to how weird they are and say there won't be a problem anymore. Couple of myths here. Foreign words are always masculine or feminine. Some Italians might tell you that, oh no, every foreign word becomes masculine. Not really. We have la t-shirt for the t-shirt. We do have il computer, but it's really hard to predict which gender a word is going to adopt once it enters the Italian language. But I do have a kind of a theory that it doesn't help you because you're not a native Italian speaker, but I'll share why I think it happens that they choose masculine or feminine gender. So un monitor, as you can see, it's a masculine word. We're using un. It's a foreign word. It wouldn't change if we were to use it in the plural. But the one thing that I want to point out is the gender of monitor. Why is it masculine? Who decided? My guess is that we have an Italian word for the same object, which is schermo. We used to call it schermo before we started using the English word. And so in our mindset, the object, a monitor, is a schermo, which means that we see it as a masculine item because we used to see it as a masculine item. Una star, that's a celebrity. Why do we say una in the feminine? Well, because the word for star in Italian is stella. We've always had stars in the sky. We've always called them stella. We still call them stella. And so since star means stella, we are going to use the same gender of the original Italian word because we used to have it. Now, this one is a little bit more tricky because mouse, we didn't have the object before it was invented. So you would argue, well, how did this one become masculine? We have the word for the animal. Maybe that's what happened. The word for the animal is topo. Topo is masculine. So that's my guess that we are calling the mouse also masculine because of the animal. Una mountain bike. Una mountain bike. Why is it feminine? Well, because it is a bicycle. The Italian word for bicycle is bicicletta, which is feminine. Una t-shirt. Una t-shirt. Why is it feminine? Because the Italian word for that thing is maglietta. So it's a feminine word. We used to have it before. We still have it, and some people still use it. So that's my guess why these words have taken the gender that they've taken. Like I said, it doesn't help you because you don't know what the word used to be, but it's an interesting factor. È tutto per oggi. That's all for today. I will see you in tomorrow's lesson. Ciao, ciao.